This is WeatherScope.
And good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at the Weather Channel for WeatherScope. I'm Lisa Moser. A cold front is pushing through the northeast, and a lot of thunderstorms that have been strong to severe, posing a lot of problems for travelers and residents. And for the latest this hour, we go to the Forecast Center with Mike Bono. Mike?
Thanks a lot, Lisa. Yes, things have been pounding the northeast now. Thunderstorms and some damage and even some hail, as we see at least the third occurrence of this type in the last week. We had that blockbuster of a storm move on through July 3rd with damage and numerous tornadoes in Berkshire County, Massachusetts. We've had numerous reports around the Binghamton and southern tier area of New York, northern counties of Pennsylvania, at least 3 times in the last few days, and now New York City again threatened by severe weather. Let's take a look at our severe weather watches. Of course, the northeast and around New York City and Hartford till 8 p.m. tonight, at least that particular watch area. Then down through Virginia, the Washington, D.C. area, Maryland. That runs a little bit later. And we also have a watch for severe weather in the state of Arkansas. We have had a lot of severe weather in the northeast and some numerous reports of tree damage and heavy rain in places like Leominster, Massachusetts. This just north of Fitchburg, where we've seen some rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches. Some wind damage reported in many places today. In Massachusetts alone, we've had trees down in the Worcester area and on to the north. We also had some hail reported in Massachusetts at Huntington, north of Westfield, dime-size hail. In Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire, just north of that Leominster area, we had 3/4 inch hail, so very severe storms in that area. And we can thank the dew points in large part. Dew point finally dropping a little around Holton, Maine, but close to 70 in Boston, over 70 in New York, Charleston, even higher in some areas up here than you've had down in North Carolina. Those 70-degree dew points all the way up to Nebraska, and we have had some severe warnings in the state of Nebraska as well. On the map, a warm front is advancing. Low pressure has advanced too. It was out around western New York and PA earlier. It's moved on into the east, and we've got those warm southerly winds coming up. Not as warm when they go over the water, but very toasty when they go over the land. It's been in the 90s in much of the northeast. Then the northeast winds and the northwest winds come in and converge. They collide, and the air has to go up. It has no place to go but up when winds are coming together like that. Rain-cooled air around Bangor and Caribou, still 83 in Boston, 85 in New York. You were 90, 88 in Philadelphia. Here comes the cool stuff from the north, and the heat is still on from the southwest, and the battle zone is in place. We could see our visible satellite photographs showing some of those clouds already in the Gulf of Maine and back on into parts of, all the way back on into parts of Connecticut. There we go, it's in motion. And coming up on New York City, we can take a look at radars and see that a good part of New England is out of the woods right now, although a secondary line of storms moving through Maine. But look at this big blockbuster coming up on Worcester now, a recent development there, through New Haven County, Connecticut, Westchester County, New York. In fact, we can even zoom in on that for you and show you Fairfield County really is getting hammered. I'm sure 1 to 2, maybe more inches of rain as Worcester and vicinity get that heavy rain. Some of that could be a little bit overdone by the local radars. Fairfield County, Connecticut to Westchester County, we have special marine warnings around New York City right now. Long Island Sound, a special marine warning. New York Harbor, down through Morris County, New Jersey, Mercer County, right to around Princeton, and now they're coming on strong toward Philadelphia. A heavy line developing just to the west of Philadelphia, moving from York and Lancaster County toward the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So there you have it, New York City any time now. In fact, the gusty winds are now moving into the city even as I speak. One line past Philadelphia, another one out to the west. Numerous reports of wind damage in West Virginia and southwestern Virginia today, even a severe thunderstorm
Weather Channel. Channel. No place on earth has better weather.
Well, good evening to you. It's Bob Stokes on the Weather Channel. We'll take you through the next 5 days weather-wise. Of course, it's been very active in the Northeast, where Mercer County in New Jersey is under a severe thunderstorm warning, as well as Cecil County.
Reparation.
There isn't enough money in the city treasurer to repay those people, but it's symbolic of a reconciliation.
This is where the white mobs broke through. Historian Eddie Fay Gates walks over the railroad tracks that racist members of the Ku Klux Klan stormed across back in 1921, determined to destroy the prosperous black community of Greenwood. And they did. Today, only 2 blocks remain.
Right now on the Weather Channel, your local forecast. WeatherScope.
A line of strong thunderstorms is targeting the Northeast and parts of the Mid-Atlantic. Good evening to you. I'm Bob Stokes. We're watching these regions for heavy rain and strong, potentially damaging winds. For the most recent information on today's storms, we go to Mike Bono in the Forecast Center. Mike?
Well, thanks a lot, Bob. Yes, one day after another, it seems every couple of days the Northeast has been getting hammered by severe weather. Of course, we had that tornado occurrence back in Berkshire County several days ago. I think it was the day before the 4th of July, and that was the beginning of a round of every other day thunderstorms hammering New England and parts of the Middle Atlantic states. Let's take a look at the severe watch areas that we have right now, and only about another half hour on most of this one in Massachusetts and southeast New York, down to about central New Jersey. A second one was issued that will go out a little bit later than that through the Chesapeake Bay and Virginia, and we have had some warnings for severe weather there. And Bob's going to talk a little bit about the Midwest and the Plains, Kansas and Arkansas already having some severe reports out of that area, especially Arkansas. But we'll show you where the storms are located right now. Wow, take a look at this. This is our close-up Doppler radar, and things were really bunched up about a half an hour ago when this loop started over Fairfield County, where there was a severe warning, down through the Bronx and Westchester and Staten Island. But now, as things have moved maybe into the sea breeze zone, they're kind of getting diffused, kind of getting broken up. Still special marine warnings out on Long Island Sound, and watch out along the South Shore. It looks like Nassau County, around Belmore and Merrick, you have a pretty strong storm coming through. But for the most part, thankfully not as severe around New York City and the western island as it could have been. But they're still pretty sharp on the radar screen around Mercer County, having come through Morris County, New Jersey. And we've got some pretty strong storms to deal with in southern New Jersey and around Philadelphia. And we can take you into Massachusetts, Leominster, Massachusetts, as a matter of fact. which has had an awful lot of torrential rain. That's in Worcester County, north of Fitchburg and Worcester, Mass. And we were seeing 1 to 2 inches of rain out of this thunderstorm. Again, areas that have gotten hammered recently, getting hammered once again in Massachusetts. As we look at our radar on the larger scale, Boston, the first wave came through you, and it looks like storms are rearing back and getting ready to punch through once again. Hartford, not too far past you. New Haven County, you had your severe warning now. Seem to have weakened a little bit. Again, New York metro area, Princeton, and Philadelphia, you're in between 2 zones, kind of like Cleveland was last night during the All-Star game. One goes to the north and east, and another one is rearing up to the west. Looks like this one will slam into Philadelphia fairly hard, unlike the Cleveland occurrence last night. Baltimore into Chesapeake Bay, sharp thunderstorms. Cecil County, Maryland, still with a severe thunderstorm warning, and Russell County, Virginia. You can blame the dew points, 65 to 70 from Boston to New York to Raleigh, and then pools of heavy dew points, even up to 70 into Bismarck, North Dakota. That means there's a lot of moisture available. It's been coming up. The temperatures were up over 90 today, southwest Connecticut, New York City, down to around Baltimore. But there's cool northwest winds and even northeast winds coming in from Canada. It all comes together, and the battle zone is an area where winds are converging and rising. Bangor down to 68. That's what happens behind the first wave of storms. 72 Boston. Even New York has been rain-cooled. Still 86 in Philadelphia. Not for long. Here come the 60s from upstate New York and parts of Canada. Kind of believe that this was a false echo return around Worcester in the last hour or so. Things are weakening there, but still slamming on into central New Jersey, again Philly, the Washington, D.C. area, and watch out Richmond, the I-95 corridor getting hit pretty hard right now. And further south, we've had a funnel cloud near Athens, Georgia. We've had one...
Magical musical memories, and it's all free. That's The Drifters, live under the stars, July 17th at Petty Lake.
We can help you build new ones. This is your local forecast. Weather information you can plan on, only on the Weather Channel. local forecast.